the second official CSGO betting subreddit podcast. I am the Top Soul Man, and I'm with my co-host, the Prince Plays. What's going on, Prince?
Hello.
And we're super excited today because we're going to actually have our first guest on the program, and he's a longtime member of the community. He's been around on the subreddit since the times of Coca-Cola and even before that, longer than both Prince and I have been on. And he's also a former employee of 99 Damage, currently working with Penta Sports, and he's a really good guy, and so we're excited to have him on. His name is 99 Swanee. How's it going, Swanee?
Hey man, thanks for having me. It's going fine over here in Germany, just enjoying life. And yeah,
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so guys, we're going to start today's podcast with the big news that everybody's been kind of talking about, which is the roster changes from yesterday. So, Prince, I assume that you can go over the roster changes real quick with everybody, and then we could just launch into a discussion on that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess one of the biggest, most surprising changes that I don't think anybody was expecting is Fnatic finally dropped their 2-year player Pronax and replaced him with G2 Dennis. That is, yeah. So 2 years. I think the most reason why, or like the most obvious reason why they would drop Pronax is because of his medical problems with his wrist. Another.
What?
Yeah. Did you not know?
No.
Pronax recently has a medical problem with his wrist and is he's has been treating it right before Cluj, but I guess it got worse over time. If you do go back, they do mention it from time to time.
Huh.
Yeah, and
Today I
then
learned.
since Dennis is not in G2 anymore, G2 signs AZ from Dignitas to replace Dennis to fill in shoes, and Dignitas now drops Pimp also and replaces him and AZ with Config and Rubino.
Huh. Well, who do you guys think won in that ordeal, first of all? Swanee?
G2.
yeah, for me, I also have to say G2 is literally stuck in Elo hell in Dignitas. He's an insane player. And he needed a team where he could really show his potential. And this is the team where he can really shine. And he probably will.
Do you think he's the best individual talent on G2 right now? Better than
No,
Makaleli, better than Rain?
no, Rain is the best. And after the last match, I have to say Jacob is second. And
Um,
AC is probably the third one.
Going back to what you said, I just wanted to say this really quick. You said that AZ was probably one of the best players on Dignitas, and his team was Dignitas was holding him back.
Yeah.
So now that you think that Dignitas' best player is gone, right? Personally, I think
Yes.
that they're going to be hurting even more with Pimp gone. With their, I consider their two of their better players are missing now. Do you think Config and Rubino has what it takes to bring Dignitas back to what they were before they started not performing like what they are now?
Yeah, because first of all, you have to see that Pimp was trying to AWP, which really, really didn't work out. He had like 4 kills on the major on one map and 6 kills on the other one. And he is also known to be a toxic teammate, which you can read all over Reddit and from his former teammates. He goes on tilt pretty quick, and it's not really a joy to play with him when they get behind.
Really?
Yeah, that's really well known, and yes, just his AWPing really wasn't on par, so I don't think that Dignitas will miss out much on him leaving.
Dude, wasn't the Danish scene seems to have like quite a few of these players. Wasn't that guy Glaive? Didn't he invite his girlfriend onto the stage once and then like they said no and so then they kicked him off the team? I forget what team it was. Maybe it was London Conspiracy, but like for
Yeah,
whatever reason I always associated Pimp with Glaive and now it's
yeah,
like I don't really understand like Dignitas now, they used to be Team Solo Mid, right? And then they got
yeah.
rid of that lineup. Now what are they? What they have nothing. I mean MSL and then they have
They
Rubino.
they do have huge potential for, in my opinion, Config is the upcoming device because you can already see from his stats, for example, when he stood in for TSM, it was on Overpass, he just dropped 28 kills and he was just insane. And also in the other maps where he was playing for SK, he was consistently their top fragger. He always delivered, and for me, Config is one of the best upcoming players.
Is he a
But
younger guy?
yeah, he's 18.
Um,
Huh.
How about the rest of the lineup? The people who did not get dropped from Mouse or not Mouse. God damn it. Well, sorry, I'm reading this article on Mouse right now while I'm talking. But from Dignitas, what about the other three players? KGB, MSL, and Tensky.
Yeah, for me, MSL,
It's
he's just,
garbage.
yeah, he's garbage, but he's in-game leader, so you kinda need him. Kjaerbye has always been called a talent, but he never shows up when it really matters. So I don't know. People always give him the the doubt of his age because he's young, and people will say that he improves. But for like 2 years now, and yeah, Rubino, consistent fragger on Copenhagen Wolves, good player all around.
But he's
But
support, you know? He's not like a heavy fragger, and they
yeah,
just got rid of their two heaviest fraggers. So, like,
yeah, that's what I mean. They don't really have a guy who can step up like AC could. Like AC just dropped 47 kills on the major on Cobble and they still lost the map.
yeah.
And
Oh, that was
now,
terrible.
yeah,
Well,
that's
So
okay.
gonna be tough.
we don't have any results for Dignitas yet, so I have yet to see how this new lineup
No, we
plays.
do. We
We
do.
do.
There was a game yesterday, and they played and they
Yeah,
won that first game, which was quite surprising. I think they won
Oh.
against Penta, right?
now against Virtus Pro, 16 to 4.
Oh,
They
yes.
60-4 Virtus Pro on cash.
Oh, the Virtus throw machine came out. Dude, the
Yeah,
Virtus throw and Virtus plow have been out in force the last 2 days. It's been insane. They've
They
been
yeah,
lost to
losing
it's
and winning.
Nip.
insane.
They lost to G2. I mean, that's completely a different topic with Virtus
Yeah,
Pro.
let me just round like I kind of want to talk a little bit about the Pronex thing because that is the most shocking news to me. I think 2 years ago to the day they dropped him. And so
Yeah.
what is that? I mean, I know you talked a little bit about his injury, but like they replaced him with Dennis. How do you think the future lineup for Fnatic plays out here?
Um,
Well, yeah,
how
you go.
Fanatics? No, you go.
Yeah, well, for me, it's a clear downgrade because
I
you
agree.
now have a player like Flasher calling, who is like an insane rifler. He was the best with together with Olaf. And now that Olaf is already struggling for like 3 months, today against Nip again, he had like 8 kills on train. They will lose out on a lot of firepower, and Dennis, there's no way that he can make up for what Flasher could do. And so for me, it's a really big downgrade, and they will not be able to win a major with this lineup. But
Prince,
that's just me.
what's your opinion on that?
With well, let's just look at the results that we have for Fnatic right now, right? Even though this team isn't refined yet with Dennis going in just recently, we don't know if they've been practicing beforehand um, with Dennis before, so we don't know if this was just a really quick change or something, or this was decided a while ago, right? But from just the results that we have seen with Dennis playing, Fnatic does not look strong at all. Flush, his IGL right now is not looking strong. Recently, let's see here, they lost 16-2 to Envious. They lost just today 16-7 to Nip. They have not been looking strong at all.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. From my perspective, with Pronax leaving the team, he represented one of the better fragging IGLs that people have seen. You know, the scene is full of IGLs that are terrible, like Valens, Gobby, I mean, Existence. He doesn't frag the greatest, but like I think Pronax was one of the best fragging IGLs, and even though they traded spots from Flusha to Pronax and back and forth over their course of their time, they were still very successful. Without Pronax now, I don't think Dennis, as Swanee was saying, you can't replace Dennis and expect him to frag like Flusha. I mean, wasn't Dennis originally part of the Fnatic lineup? Am I
Mm,
mistaken?
no, he was with LGB where Crims and Olaf were before they changed over to Fnatic.
So he has some familiarity there, but it's like he's kind of like he reminds me of Devil Walk, you know, where it's just his time has kind of passed him by. Plus, I hate Dennis, and I'll tell you guys why. I told this to Swanee yesterday, but I bought like 4 or 5 sticker packages for Mouse and then for whatever team Dennis was on for the last major. And I opened them all and I got all the Dennises from the German team, and I got the Swedish Dennis. So I had like 4 Dennis stickers that I couldn't sell, and nobody wanted him to play for any of the fantasy team stuff. So I already have preset animosity for him. But I agree with Swanee. I don't think they're a major winning team right now. I think G2 is probably, if they could wrap their heads around everything and get their communication on point, ever since they switched over the main op to Fox, I think G2 is probably on the level of Fnatic right now. Do you think that's accurate, or
Yeah.
maybe a little more work?
Yep.
I want to go over this really quickly, and like, just we're still on this topic. You said that G2 had the best, like the better of all the trades, and I agree with you with that. So now that G2 has replaced Dennis with AZ, do you think that this is going to make G2 even better of a team, or what?
Well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna make him better, but how? Like, AZ replacing Dennis is it just really simple where he's a better fragger,
I
or
think AZ is probably one of the top 10 players in the world.
Swanee? What's your
Yes.
opinion on it?
Yeah, would agree with it as well, but G2 will always have this communication problem since they have to communicate in English, and it will always be a problem for team in really situations where you have to call quickly and precisely, and sometimes if it's not your native language, you really have to think about what is the spot called, and when it has to go really fast and stuff, this could be a huge issue for them still because of Fox, because they need to talk English because of him. But yeah, overall, G2, they are really, really solid now. At
Dude,
least top 4 team.
does the G2 lineup speak like other than English and then Fox speaking Portuguese? Are they all, because isn't Rain from like Norway and then
Jacob's also
Sweet?
from Norway, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
but
then
it's pretty easy for them to understand Swedish and Norway. Like said,
Norwegian.
yeah, like Anders also always says that when they cast, they really easily understand each other.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not that hard for them.
Well, and then
So
AZ's from Denmark, right?
yeah, so it's easy for them.
So they speak
Okay.
Danish.
Well,
Yeah.
Fox will probably, dude. Fox is being held up on that Cluj hot streak for his op, and he's a really good player. But I think they have him for a lot of the reasons that that Cloud9 has Freakazoid, which is that he's marketable. He's
Yeah.
kind of like a good-looking guy. I'm comfortable in my own skin to say that. And same with Freak. Like they're not the greatest players, but I don't think they're going to drop him just because they're really trying to build a brand of a team, not just like maybe a successful team, but I think they're also trying to build a brand. But I'm very glad that you brought up the team communication things, because you were telling me yesterday about some stuff that I didn't know, which is that Nico was on Mouse Sports for a very long time as a backup. When,
Yeah.
in my opinion, he's one of the best players in the world. And from what I had always heard, is they didn't want to have Nico on the team because they wanted to continue to call in German. But you told me
Yes.
yesterday that Chris J doesn't speak German. He understands it, but he doesn't speak it.
Yes.
So
So
what's the deal with that?
So does
so
he?
Gob
Okay.
yeah, so Gob really hated communicating in English because he always said it holds him back and he can't really show his skills and his calling stuff on English. So they really, really held back on getting Nico as their permanent fifth. And Chris J doesn't really speak English. I mean, he can communicate with you on a small talk basis and stuff. And what is most important is that he can understand every single German call. So Gob could easily continue calling on German. But yeah, he really didn't want to call on English, so they always said that Nico has to be their sixth and they will not take him in their team.
Well, I'm assuming that there were teams out there that really wanted Nico as their fifth. Some team out there that could have really used him, whether it be, I don't know, flip side or something like that, something weird. But then now that Mouse is actually employing Nico, I'm assuming that they're calling in all English, right?
Yeah, they are just, if Nico dies, they switch to German.
Huh.
Because he often goes in as entry fragger, and if he goes down there as first blood, or if they are in a 2-on-2 without Nico, they will switch over to German. Because, as I already said, it's just way more comfortable for a person to communicate in their native language in clutch situations where everything has to be on point.
Prince, what is your opinion on Nico?
Well, I mean, he's a good player, but if
What do you mean,
he's-
good player? He's a
Well,
great player.
He's a
yeah,
god.
okay, fine.
He's like a god. Yeah, exactly, a god.
A god,
Counter
okay.
Strike.
But I think the communication bit does pose kind of a bit of a problem, but it's not as big as some other teams out there. And with how they're performing right now, it's not really the communication I think's the problem. It's more of their consistency.
I agree. I agree
Yeah,
with that.
because they're also very emotional. They are young and really emotional.
Well, okay, so here's my perspective on Mouse, right? Mouse has got two of the top 10 players in the world, in my opinion, okay? I know that's going a long way, but Nex and Nico are amazing. Chris J is a very underrated op. He used to be called Online J, and like nowadays he's really performing really well. In this most recent LAN, the CVO LAN in North America, he performed excellently, and Mouse went really far. They actually went to the finals against VP, and then VP destroyed them. But I mean, they did better than they did at Cluj, that's for damn sure. And I feel like Chris J, that lineup, I feel like should be in the final of a major, but they don't. Like Prince was saying, they don't have the consistency.
Just going on what you said at Cluj, right? I don't think that it was really Mao's. Like, they didn't play as what I really expected them to play at. But I mean, when you're going against a G2 that's performing that well, you know.
You're gonna run into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, G2 just played amazing at that LAN. I can't wait to see them play at San Jose this next week. I really want to see how they do with AZ instead of Dennis, but I expect a lot of big things from them. I don't think that what they did at Cluj was a fluke. I definitely think that they're going to perform. But, I could be losing a lot of money, Maybe
They,
G2's going to disappoint me. But
dude, I think in my betting, I have a total amount won of like 25,000, but an amount lost of like 15,000. So I'm up 10,000, but I've lost $15,000 worth of bets. So it's expected at times. But you know what? Actually, that brings me to my next point. Swanee, point blank, right now, right here. What's up with that Dookie guy? What's up with Dookie? What's up with Robson? What's with all these fools that play on this TTC team or whatever? What is
Yeah.
that German team?
Well, Yuki is Austrian and he is banned for cheating on ESL. There are several YouTube clips that are really suspicious. There's not much to say. It's just a little kid that is cheating, and I wouldn't be surprised if match fixing is the next thing that comes up with him. So I would never bet on him or anything involved with him.
What was that game? It was back in the day. I remember specifically. It was Tony and Robson and a couple of the guys from the current Planet Key lineup that got caught throwing the game or whatever. And I don't want to harken on the past because that is the past. But ever since then, I always wondered like, why are they able to compete in lounge? And it's like you being a person who's pretty ingrained in the German scene. I realistically see it as all German teams are kind of shady, except for Penta and Maus. Like those two teams like have a reputation, but like a lot of them seem to have this really kind of I don't know this disconnect. And I was wondering if you could speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, it's just always a bad history that you have. If you uh, think about German players, then the first thing that comes to your mind is mostly cheaters. And it's also true because there are really a lot of cheaters, like you said. For example, Dookie, he's just a kid that is cheating, and he's people like him are really pulling down the German scene because, like the new Killerfish team, it's an insanely talented team. They just 2-0'd EFRAG with 16-8 and 16-7 or something like that, and all of a sudden everyone comes to the conclusion that because Dookie and stuff were cheating, now this team is cheating, and it's just annoying because there are really good teams out there from Germany, but of course there are always the black sheeps that will always hold us back
Yeah,
because
like the really
they,
good players like Nex will eventually shine through, but it takes a lot more persistence from them. So that actually brings up another question. Who are the best young, legit players in Germany right now?
yeah, well, you have to go with Nex first. Undoubtedly, he's the best German player. If he goes crazy, he can 1v9 against any team. Then I would say that Keith, who is the AWPer for Killerfish, is really, really strong. He's dropping 25 bombs every single game. Doesn't matter against who, he outaims almost every single AWP. It's insane. Then I would say Syrson, who is not really known so far. but he's playing for Planet Key Dynamics at the moment, and they also qualified for the German EPS finals, and it will be really amazing to see what he can bring to the table on LAN against all these good teams. In my opinion, Searson right now is the second best rifler in Germany behind Nex.
Whew.
Yeah, he's insane, and he's young, and you will definitely see him in another team in the near future.
Yeah, he's gonna be poached and put
Yeah,
onto like iBuyPower or something, right?
yeah,
Cloud9. He's coming to America.
So,
Just
yeah, and
well, go
go
ahead.
ahead,
yeah.
Prince.
I was gonna ask Wani. We're talking about all these uprising players, right? Is there any lesser known German teams that you think are gonna be showing ups, like are gonna be uprising, I should say, or is the German scene pretty much set in stone right now with Maus and Penta just and Killerfish?
Yeah, so I would say Killerfish is ranked higher than Penta at the moment. Killerfish are showing insane results. They are winning against almost any team that they are up, and with really good scorelines. They just won against Recent Gaming. They won against eFrag, as I said. They are just really, really solid at the moment, and they are kinda new team with Kazuya, who was in-game leader for Mouse before Gobi rejoined them. So he's a really good one. Crispy has been playing for Penta Sports before he got replaced by Speedy. And Tizian was on Mousebots as well, together with Troubly back in the days. Yeah, and just Keith, the Opera, and Stefan, who are both young and upcoming talents who are insane players. So I would
Killerfish
say,
for
yeah,
sure. But here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna explain something I think that happens in a lot of regional Counter Strike, right? So North America has a lot of teams, and we always get shit on for not showing up to majors. But you got to think, top to bottom, our leagues are way deeper than most of the world. We have
yeah,
so many
for sure.
teams that are like out there. We just don't make a consistent 5-man lineup. Like France has two teams, right? They have
Titan
Envy
and Envy.
and Titan, and then they have LDLC, right? So there's not much competition there. Sweden has two teams as well. Sweden has NIP and they have Fnatic. Poland has two teams. North America has like 30 teams that are like
Well,
deep.
okay. Now we recently had what some people would call the EU shuffle, right? And something like that. I mean, it's a name that a lot of people have been calling it. And if you look at it, right, these players that are getting moved in and out, they're there for at least year or two, or they're there, right? The problem with these North American organizations that I've talked about and commented on before, right? If a player is not showing results, they will get kicked off before
Just
they
boot
even.
them.
Yeah, it's a player can be in the.
Solutions.
Okay.
That's the solution. It's like
Here
immediate.
is here's a really good example, right? Go back maybe a month or two and then look at Elevate. They switch rosters maybe 5 times in 1 month.
Yeah.
And
No, you know what? It's part of the American culture, man. I came from Call of Duty, the professional Call of Duty scene, right? And before you start laughing at me, actually, permission, you can laugh at me all you want. But the thing is, on there, it's way worse. They have like one day of the year where every single team changes rosters. It's
Yeah,
insane, and that's how North America is. But I think while I agree with you, Prince, what I was going to get at was the fact that I think it's kind of like the way baseball works in America, where you have like college, you have the minor leagues, and then you have the major leagues.
yeah,
And so I don't see it being so much that a team that's small in Germany will rise above Penta or rise above Maus because that's where the German players want to play. They want to play in Penta. They want to play in Maus. They don't want to play on Planet Key Ducks. They don't want to play on killer fish to an extent. You might have a lucky run where you get really good players on one of those teams and they might be better than Penta or Maus at some point, but consistently over the course of time, you'll always have, I think, Maus and Penta as the top German teams because they're the top German organizations. It's just how it works. All the German players that are coming up want to play on those two teams.
and going back to the North American scene again, we actually at North America, we're kind of looked like in North American, like this whole scene itself, where our teams are kind of looked down upon. I think it's changing slowly, but I mean, it's still there, right? North American teams not really good at CS. EU teams are pretty much better in general.
Oh, it's not even changing. We don't win our own regional
I think the
tournaments.
closest thing that was might change people's opinion was Cloud9 at the ESL or something.
Well, IBuyPower had some good showings too internationally, and I'm
Yeah,
actually
but
glad you brought that up because I want to ask both of you this question, right? So, IBuyPower tournament is this weekend. It's starting on
yep,
the 14th of November,
it's starting
and it's
tomorrow,
gonna.
pretty much.
We don't say
In the next
tomorrow.
24 hours. It's literally in the next
Yeah,
24 hours.
yeah.
I know. But
It's
what I'm saying
tomorrow for everybody, pretty much.
is that
20 hours.
after that is the RGN tournament. And we're going to come and talk about iBuyPower Cup too, right? But I want to talk about the RGN tournament because you brought up a good point. Swag is going to be playing for Cloud9,
Yep.
right?
hmm
Yes.
What do you guys think about that?
I mean, that's a good chance for Swag to show that he's still in the scene. But, I mean, is he going to continue playing after this is the big question, right?
I think Swag's the most overrated player in the world.
That's hard to say because when
Yeah.
he was
Think that.
playing during his time, right, before the end of 2014, he was easily one of the better players in the North American scene, right?
Yeah.
Now we have a lot more talent, right? With a lot more talent, I would say, in North America. With Luminosity, Brazilians coming here to play. I don't know. I can name a bunch of players that in North America has in the recent months risen up, right? But is Swag still going to perform at this LAN is really at the big. It's a question, and also is he going to continue playing if he does?
No,
We
he won't. He's banned.
He's banned from tournaments that are sponsored by Valve, but there's a lot of tournaments that are not sponsored by Valve right now. I can name a few, but off my head, like this RGN. There's another one that's pretty big. I believe Kato is not sponsored by Valve either. So those two tournaments they could play in. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, so Swanee, like, what is your opinion on Swag?
Well, completely different from yours because I think Swag he was the best player back in the times, and I will always remember this 1v4 on Dust 2 against Nip where he just went as CT on the B bomb site and he just took it back. They planted a bomb and he just went there, killed all four people, defused the bomb like it was nothing. And
Uh,
he was like 16 there, so if Steel and Co didn't fuck him over, then now he would be easily one of the best players. For me, Hiko is the most overrated player because he just baits his teammates.
oh, come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah,
man.
he's just baiting, and then he
Come
gets the
on.
clutches, and everyone goes crazy on Reddit. Oh, Hiko,
Yeah.
Come on, inhuman
1v3.
reactions, dude. Inhuman
Yeah, it's
reactions.
just
Yeah, that's because he literally baited all of his teammates into getting killed, and then he comes out so he could clutch a 1v4, which is, yeah,
it's
I
always the same.
I could agree with that. There's a reason why he's put in so many clutch situations, and he kind of relies on
Oh,
that.
so
But
that's why he's in so many clutch situations now.
yeah, he's literally baiting his teammates out. No, actually, that's I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I feel like it's something that he does oftentimes put himself into. So we've talked about a lot of stuff so far today, and I think we want to kind of try to wrap it up here pretty soon. And I think we want to talk about a little bit of the betting stuff. And I'm interested to get your guys' take on the iBuyPower Cup that's happening, and also RGN. So obviously the teams are set up into groups for iBuyPower, and it's actually going to be at the same venue, Santa Ana, California, the Esports Arena. Both tournaments are going to be held there, and as previously mentioned, Cloud9 is playing with Swag instead of Sean Garris for the RGN portion of the tournament. But I'm interested to see who you think will win the iBuyPower Cup. Who do you think has an advantage going in, since it's all mostly North American teams?
Well, I can say who I think will get out of the two groups right now, right? I think it's going to be Renegades and Luminosity getting out Group A, that or CLG instead of Renegades. And then for Group B, it's definitely going to be probably... Conquest has been looking very strong recently, so I think Conquest does have a big chance to play there. Wait, are they still playing?
Yeah, they are.
They are, right? Just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I got my information right.
Who, Conquest? Are
Yeah,
they still
Conquest.
playing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Conquest is definitely going to get out. They look so strong right now, and I want to say Cloud9, but I mean, Liquid, if they can, fix up their game, then Liquid can definitely make it through.
Oh, dude. Oh, okay, Swanee, what do you think?
Yeah, same with Group A Luminosity, easily as first seed, and probably on every big LAN so far. The only good one which they had was this one in Germany in Cologne, but other than that, I am not really impressed by their playstyle. And Group B would be, honestly, I think Liquid for sure. They are the best in this group, and Cloud9 online. Their results were really, really bad. Like, what did they do? They win one game out of the last nine or something like this. And I would say Liquid and Conquest make it out of groups.
Okay,
On
You guys are crazy.
Swanee,
You
can I
guys are
request you to say what the second team was for Group A? I think the stream kind of cut you off right there a little bit.
Yeah, CLG will be the second team in my
I agree
opinion.
with that. Okay, so let me tell you what my experience is. I actually went up to the venue in Santa Ana, which is right around the corner from my house, and I went there and I talked to the CEO. His name is Paul Ward, I believe. And when I looked at the venue, it's really small and it's really close knit, tight quarters, like, and it's actually like quite kind of homely, I guess I would say. It's not like this crazy dream hack gigantic stage that everybody sits around. There's millions of fans. The crowd is going to be intense there because the people that are going to be there. There's only 1,000 seats available. They all have to fight there. What I think this tournament favors is teams that have LAN experience. So you could throw out Winter Fox for the most part. You could throw out probably Conquest. And I'm not saying they don't have overall LAN experience because a lot of the players on those teams do, but they don't have as much LAN experience.
They just went to a
Um,
land experience last week, dude, or a land last week.
but what I'm saying is that they went to the land, but that's like their only experience at a land. And this is kind of like a more tight knit. They're traveling across the country to come here. Keep in mind that both Cloud9 and CLG are both based in California. Both of their teams are based in California. I think it favors those two teams. I think CLG and Liquid get out of the second group, and I believe that Cloud9 and Liquid get out of the second group. That's not what I said. And then LG and then CLG, and then who takes it out of those four? I would think right now I kind of am favoring Cloud9 to come out on top, possibly with LG in the final. That would be my final, and I think Cloud9 wins the whole thing.
Personally, I think Conquest, right? Just going what off. I think they play better at lands, really. If
Why?
anything, if you actually look at their online results compared to their LAN results, they played a lot better at the LAN than. I mean, just look at the CEVO Season 8, right? Conquest beat what? Mouse. Uh, I'm blanking right now, but they did beat
Yeah,
a
but
few
it's
teams.
it's mostly because the teams don't really know how Conquest play, and they didn't really prepare for them because you had nothing to prepare for. And Conquest played against teams where there are like hundreds of demos from LAN, and it's always hard if you play like a team like against a team of Conquest. They literally give zero fucks. They go for frags. They go in. It's like Gamers 2 at some point where
I
they just
mean,
went in and rushed, and it's really hard to counterplay. So I
Well, and
don't know.
also think about it. All those teams had to travel all the way to North America to play. Like Virtus Pro and Mouse. The first day that they play in that tournament is probably going to be pretty rough. They're going to be jet lagged. It's not going to be as easy for them to, especially against a team like you were saying that they can't really study for. Um, and I think that that's a very important thing to distinguish. For this particular land, all the teams know Conquest. Every
Yeah.
single one of them knows Conquest.
okay. Well,
But I hear,
it's gonna be really fun to see them play. That's what overall.
and that's the case. And depending on what the odds are, you might want to be betting on a team like Conquest versus Cloud9 in a best of one. That's what it always seems to be. Is these best of one group stage games are always supposed to be underdog bets, and so I think that after that, all the teams transition and they play at the same place again. It's going to be for the RGN Pro Series, and there's teams from all over the world playing in that. Like Lounge is playing in that.
The prize pool is a lot smaller though, surprisingly. It should be
Yeah,
$100,000 just overall for the iBuyPower, right?
yeah,
This one here is about what,
30.
50,000?
I think it's
30,000?
30.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
30,000.
probably.
And do you think that will affect how teams that are qualified for the iBuyPower Cup will look on to this RGN game? Do you think that's going to affect how they view it?
Well, everybody's traveling. A lot of those European teams probably don't mind traveling here because the next week is San Jose, which is a tournament they will care about. and so they'll just travel right up the coast and go to San Jose and play. So anybody who's playing in this RGN tournament from Europe, I'm guessing they have also qualified for the IEM San Jose, possibly, or they have a shot at qualifying for it. So that's the only reason I could see somebody actually making the trip from like Poland to the west side of America to play
Well,
in a land for 30K.
let's just go on that for a second, right? Let me just check the rosters for the San Jose, which I still don't. God, I really wish I had the information list right here, right now. But I don't believe that any of the European teams that are coming over here are playing at the San Jose.
Well, I only see one European team.
And
It's for
that
the
would
CSGO
be,
Lounge.
yeah.
They
Renegades, well, I guess they count too. They're not European, but I mean, they are traveling across the world. So,
what I think is strange is because the winner of the IBuyPower tournament is getting the last slot for the IEM San Jose tournament, and Launch Gaming decided to take part in the RGN tournament, which has no impact on the IEM San Jose, and they skipped on the IBuyPower one.
They might not have been invited though. I think the
Yeah, okay.
iBuyPower one is a North American tournament. I think
Okay,
for teams
makes
based.
sense.
But the thing is that like I see where you're coming from in the sense that I don't really understand their decision to fly all the way out here. Maybe Lounge is just gonna, you know what Lounge is gonna do? They're gonna fly their team out here, then they're gonna fly Yaroberto out here and Honey, and then they're just gonna set up shop in North America.
Yeah, it's strange
um,
because they are not playing for in San Jose for sure.
Well, that's good for clarification.
so
'cause I
what
did-
cloud? Okay, you said that the winner of the iBuyPower Cup qualifies for the San Jose land, right?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna clarify that. It's the person. There are some teams that have already qualified for the San
that's what
Jose
was
Cup.
the
It's
Yeah.
ask.
the team that hasn't qualified with the highest seed in
Oh.
this iBuyPower Cup will qualify. So, for example, if somehow Winter Fox comes out and finishes in third place behind LG and Cloud9, then Winter Fox would get that automatic
Wait,
qualify.
wouldn't there be a decider match, or is it just higher seed?
Just higher seed.
Just higher seed,
Yeah, so that's basically
Yeah.
how it's gonna work.
but they will face Envious, so they would be out pretty quick.
Oh no, upset of the century, man. Could you guys see that?
A group
Winter
of-
Fox?
Yeah. Wow.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know what I want to see?
Are they
I
gonna
think-
play? No, never mind. I'm stupid.
No, Winter Fox is not playing. But you know who I want to see at a major? CLG Red. You guys brought that up earlier, and I think that's the best team you could possibly put together for a major.
Well, okay. With CLG Red, well, they're going against. Who are they going against for the? Well, what group are they in for the first part?
In Group D.
Yeah,
They're gonna
going
play
against
Luminosity.
Luminosity,
Yeah.
and also the biggest clown of the whole thing, of the whole RGN thing, which is Torque, which is Kiko, Steel, Mo, N2G, and Stewie2K, which I like to call the rejects.
Dude, you can't be so harsh on them. They're good players.
I'm hard on Mo, okay?
Yo, I have a question for you guys. Who's a better opper, Mo or Chris J?
Chris J.
Chris J for sure.
Nah.
Dude, okay, you go and watch
One G's in the
Mo's-
chat, baby.
Go watch Mo's clip on Dust 2 from Pit, and that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh man, that was in that tournament that he played
Against
from
CLG,
America.
yeah. That's,
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different one where he played as a substitute with Steel on
no,
a
with the
2K,
with the CLG team.
and it was like they played and it was
disgusting.
just awful, man. It was just that was I think one of my first big bet wins.
Mo.
All right, I
but
think that's
mean,
pretty much
yeah.
like covers it all, right? Was there any like kind of like last
If
thoughts
wanna
you guys
go
had
over
on that
RGN,
IBP?
just who we think are gonna win the groups really quick, then we're
Yeah.
pretty much done.
Yeah, go for it.
Who do you guys think that are gonna win the groups? You can start off this time. I'll end off. We can start with you, Top. Who do you think's gonna get out of groups for the?
I see.
RGN.
I'm not prepared for this podcast. I didn't have any of that open, so I
Let
was
me
hoping
send you the
guys.
link right now, actually.
Nah, Swanee, who do you think's gonna get out of those groups, man? Please say CLG Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with Group A. So I have to say CLG and Enemy because I have to go with my boy Skylar. If I say anything else, he will be mad at me. So Enemy and CLG will make it out of Group A because Nexus, nah, they will not even win a single map. And Renegades, I don't like them. Skylar for life, CLG and Enemy. will make
Dude,
it
shut
out of
up.
group.
Shut up. Dude, you're oh my gosh, dude.
No, we
Okay.
should have a final with Nexus, Storm, and Nexus. That would probably be the best.
That would be, dude, they should just play League of Legends in the final.
Yeah,
Fuck
pretty
it. Like,
much.
who cares? They'll just play a game of League.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say Nexus or
No, not
Enemy and
Nexus.
CLG. Sorry, let me correct it.
Yeah.
Enemy and CLG. Group B, who you got?
Cloud9 and Complexity, that's pretty easy because Method, whenever I listen to Justin, when they had, because earlier in the days they had POV streams from their matches with from Silent, and Justin always tilted so hard, it was the funniest shit ever. So Method and Nexus Storm, I don't think that they will get any maps against well-established teams.
I have a feeling in Group C you're gonna pick someone that we don't think you're gonna pick. So who do you got in Group C?
Yeah, Group C for sure, Games Academy
I knew it.
and Liquid.
All
No,
right,
I
and
kinda
then Group
expected
D.
that.
Hold on. We'll get to you, Prince.
Yeah, Group D, CLG Red, and
Shut the
Luminosity.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I was like, what I said was, I really expected him to pick Games Academy and Liquid. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
those are the obvious choices. But if I was just how about you, Top Soul Man? Do you?
Yeah, no, I sounded like a complete dick there. What I meant to say is I wanted to get your picks right after this because I feel like you'll kind of be
No,
the
no.
balance
No, I
between
want you
myself
to
and
choose
Swanee.
right now. I mean, like, I want you to see who is gonna get out.
All right, guaranteed 100% Group A, CLG Renegades, right? All in, triple max bet, quad max bet, whatever you got to do, that's for sure happening, right? Group B, easy, Cloud9, Method, okay? And I know that you don't like Justin, but just wait till that team comes and plays Cash in a best of one. If someone doesn't veto Cash in a best of one against Method, they deserve to lose. So that's just my thought on that. Furthermore, in Group C, I really think that Swanee's right on that one. Games Academy and Liquid look to go out of that. Maybe Lounge could surprise, but I don't know. I mean, they flew him all the way across the world to compete, so maybe they will play well. But it's really tough. If I had to pick, okay, so I think it would be Games Academy and Liquid. But if I had to pick one of those two teams not to get in, I would say Liquid misses it and CSGO Lounge takes their place. I know that's a bold statement, but that's what I'm going to say. Group D, I believe, is going to be Luminosity and Torqued. I think the lineup for Torqued with Steel and them is going to be pretty damn good, and they're going to surprise some people, but ultimately they're going to fail. So now that I've given mine, Prince, what about you?
I'll probably go with Enemy and CLG for the first one.
Ha!
Boo!
I
Boo!
definitely think the Enemy
Boo!
has what it takes to beat out Renegades and Nexus. I mean, Enemy,
Yeah.
they look really strong. Okay.
Dude, JKS is like a top 15 player in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, Enemy
Just
almost
kidding.
beat
No, he's not.
Luminosity. Okay.
He's
Okay,
not.
Group B. I think Method has a chance to make it out group. I think they do. They have a good chance. But if I think it would end up being either Method, Cloud9, or probably Complexity and Cloud9. But I think that Method has a good chance to get out groups in that group. Group C, I'm gonna go against you guys a little bit. I think CS:GO Lounge might have a chance to make it out of groups with Games Academy. Liquid has been disappointing me recently, and I think that if Liquid chokes like they usually do, then they won't make it out of groups. And with Group D, I'm gonna go with Luminosity and probably, gosh, like those three teams.
Do it.
Uh,
CLG Red. Just say it. Put your reputation on the line.
I want to see Torque go to
God
make
damn
it out of the groups. I really want to see them.
it.
I want to see Mo play.
Do you
with
see my
Stewie.
face right now? This is the face of disappointment.
Okay.
This is my face of disappointment towards your pick of that. You should have picked CLG Red. Even though I didn't pick CLG Red, so I guess I can't say too much. Okay, well, okay, guys, I think that's about it. I think that could wrap it up for now. Might be a little bit long. Who knows? Anyways, what I wanted to do is I want to say thank you to both of the people on today. The Prince plays awesome. He sets this whole thing up. He's a really good guy. Does a lot of work with me to set this up, so it's awesome that he does this. Also, Swanee setting aside time at 2 a.m. in the morning in Germany to come talk to us, man. It's been a pleasure. You are always welcome if you'd ever like to come back on, and I think this will make a really good second podcast. And to everybody out there at the CSGO subreddit, CSGO betting subreddit, I just want to say thank you for the positive
Feedback.
stuff you said last week. It was really motivational. I think both Prince and I wanted to say thanks. And if you guys have any other guests, oh, that's the one thing I want to touch. If you guys want to see specific guests, let us know in the comments, and then we'll be able to kind of adjust for the next time. We might be able to get someone on. I have some ideas, but I'd like to get the community involved in this as well. So, on behalf of myself, Prince, Swanee, thank you guys. And was there anything else you guys wanted to say? Anything, closing thoughts, anything like that?
Not really. No.
No.
Anyways, like he said, thank you to Swanee just for being here. And I think that really wraps it up for this week's episode podcast number 2, I guess. I don't know. Weekly recap number 2. But I mean that brings it to a close, and see you guys later.
No, don't stop recording it because I was thinking of an outro.
Why? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay, here's my outro. It was something about, all right, guys, have a good evening. We'll see you later. Stay salty. Cut.
Okay, I'm cutting now.
Sick.
We'll get it cleaned up by next week. See you guys.